have now reached the intersection where ideas, beliefs, and perspectives collide. So be free to be you. It's the XrossroadZ Podcast with your hosts, author, speaker, and transformational strategist, Barzini, and entrepreneur, empowerment coach, and tech diva, Dre Renee. If you're ready to talk love, business, politics, and everything in between, you're in for a ride. Welcome to the XrossroadZ Podcast.
What's going on, everybody? It's your man, Hunter Grand, your personal agent for change, making life easy, Barzini.
And I'm fempreneur extraordinaire and tech diva all day, Dre Renee.
And this is the XrossroadZ, where there's only one rule: be free to be you. So, I'm starting this week talking shit.
Every week.
And I took a few weeks off of talking shit. Y'all, Dre done forgot where she came from, y'all.
That's because I don't know where I am most of the time.
Okay, fair, but still. So we getting ready for the show, and she's sitting there eating some poly seeds. She's like, hold on before we record. She's like,
everybody doesn't even know what that is. Go ahead.
The people that need to know, those who know, if you know, you know. And so there's a reason why she's sitting here fixing her lipstick right now. That's because for the uninitiated, she was like, let me finish eating my sunflower seeds. It's like, the fuck is sunflower seeds? Like, nigga. And you more LA than me.
New sponsor.
Right. David, and you eating the OG brand.
Of course. What else would I be eating?
But you call them sunflower seeds. Who says that from LA? Don't nobody in LA ever say sunflower seeds. That's just too many goddamn syllables.
Sunflower seeds.
Yeah, ain't nobody. Look, we don't give a shit what's on
sunflower.
Okay,
so, one extra syllable. Sorry.
But nah. So when you go to the store and do you say, "Ooh, hand me that petroleum jelly"?
No, I don't ask anybody to hand me anything. I go.
No, I'm just saying. Do you grab the petroleum jelly or do you grab Vaseline?
Vaseline.
Right, but Vaseline is a brand, and everybody don't buy the Vaseline brand. You might have it, but on average, people. But no matter what the brand, we call it what? Vaseline. So you were like, that's not even what they're called, sunflower seeds. Look what's on the bag. So what's on the bag? It's called Vaseline.
But no matter what the brand is, they're all gonna say sunflower seeds on the bag.
I don't give a shit what they say.
I'm just saying,
what they are.
Buy what's on the bag.
They poly seeds, y'all. First of all, is what you call them, and it's a special way you're supposed to eat them. You put a few in your hand. You got to shake them up. It's a constant shake. You shake them up, and then you dump a few in your mouth, or some. If you're really a pro, you eat them from the bottom like this, like. And then you don't spit them out until all the ones in your mouth, you got to see all that. And then you keep the shells in the side of your mouth. And you spit them out.
I'm here with trying to preserve my lip look for the recording. So yes, I was with the
one at a time.
I was it.
She was eating them like she puts ketchup on one fry at a time. That shit annoys the hell out of me.
Yeah, that was pretty much what happened.
Look.
Trying to keep it fresh.
You're right. Y'all can see people that take one French fry and put ketchup on just that.
They might be a serial killer. No, I have not seen that actually.
I have.
I'm a dipper though. I like to.
That's cool. If you want to dip, you want to swirl, you want to slide. You know what I'm saying? But you got the ketchup pack and you just put.
Yeah, no.
That shit. Like, just put the fucking ketchup on the plate and dip it, or get the little cup like an In-N-Out. Anyway,
you be yelling at people for how they eat their food.
Look, I'll be screaming at their ass in my head, like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Now you can't be with me and do that shit, because I swear to God, I'll take that ketchup and just.
Oh Lord, my goodness!
All over your fries. Here, just put it on the fucking fry. But yeah, so.
Sheesh. That's how we start an episode. Coming in hot.
I'm passionate about my snacks, man.
Yeah.
So, all right, y'all. It's time for this week's The Fuck.
It's his favorite time, as you can see.
Yeah, the fuck. So we found a meme. Let's read the meme for us, Dre. Read the meme.
Well, I got to read this crass meme.
Cause you the meme reader.
I gotta do it.
You got the voice. It's better when you say it.
Well, based on how this is scratched out, it says, if I pay for our date, Nia, you eating puss in the car on the way home.
Like they didn't scratch out the whole word. So if you pay for the date, nigga, you eating pussy in the car on the way home.
In the car on the way
on
home.
the way home. Like, damn.
On the way home? Jeez.
Right. So I'm like this. How come he gotta owe you something just because you paid for dinner? The fuck?
Well,
What
and
happened?
I'm like, it's literally just the reverse of what we've heard forever.
What happened to
pay
Courtney?
for a date, then they are expecting something after the date. So sis was just getting ahead of the game.
So okay, so it begs the question. It's clearly satirical, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or not, depending on who the hell wrote it.
Right.
But the whole expectation thing, right? And when we say expectation, when we're talking about dudes expect something just because we're typically talking about sex. Okay, bet. Like, you don't want to give it up. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
But what can, from a woman's POV, what can or should, let's say you're talking to your son. What should he expect from a woman?
Respect.
I mean,
respect. If he does pay, I think like, thank you, acknowledgement, but I'm not going to tell either of my kids, that the expectation is that, you about to get some after the date. Like,
no, I mean anything. Because, and let's say this, okay, the date aside, because not like isolated incident. I'm talking about, let's talk about like just the dating, the beginning stages of dating in general. Like the consensus is usually he shouldn't expect anything from her, but he's got all these requirements on him. So it's like, what is the equitable reciprocity from women? So if we're naming men are expected to take the first move and approach, right? Generally.
Mm-hmm.
He's usually the one to make first contact. He's usually the one to ask her out on a date. He's usually the one that's expected to plan the date, pay for the date, pick her up, open doors, pull out chairs, be interesting, be respectful. You know what I'm saying? Dress nice. Like all of these things, right? And this is out the gate. This is hello, all that shit, right? You feel me? And that's even if that's after you've done your due diligence after the hello, because even as hello, my name is like, okay, do I buy a drink? Do I not buy a drink? Am I supposed to stand here and engage in a prolonged conversation or small talk and get out, so she can enjoy her time with her friends or whomever she's with, if she's with somebody, and then we'll have the conversations later. And is she the ones that expect me to buy her friends a drink? First of all, hell no. But is she that type?
Shout out to all my friends who who have dated men or been married to those who have bought drinks for everybody. That was never an expectation. Never. There's one person that comes to mind that, I think the first time because he does it not necessarily all the time, but it's like if I'm with them, I don't have to worry about anything.
We're talking
that was a thing.
No, we're talking.
But when you say expectation,
no, because you have women that literally. No, yeah. So there's women that literally expect that. Now I've actually done it, but if I do that shit, that's on my own volition. Like I have my boys. Sometimes like we kicking and we rocking. You know what I'm saying? We might buy a round. That's normal for us. But
you don't have to give in to somebody's expectation.
No, you don't. But I'm saying to even have that expectation, like if you out with your girls and I come and offer to buy you a drink, you have an expectation that I buy all your girls a drink. Fuck that and fuck you.
Well, and there you go. But I can't say that somebody's expectation is, or they shouldn't have it. If that's...
Is that even logical to you? Okay, so what do you think of a person that has that expectation?
You might be a little delusional. You might feel
like there have been women that's literally like turned.
But we don't know. We don't know what their experience has been. You often talk about experience narratives. What if they're used to that?
And like I'm not dating all your homegirls.
I am not saying you're not. I'm not saying that I don't agree. You're asking me to present the other side, and that's what I'm okay. Not my experience. I don't expect anybody to buy me anything. But if, maybe that's something that she has been accustomed to. And so if she is, in a situation where this doesn't happen, she's like, ew.
Yeah, but I still I'm like, bet. Okay, so my expectation is the reciprocity also needs to come from you and your homegirls. Cool. Like, bet. Like the first time we finna get it in, I'm stopped. Like, wait, let's stop. She's like, what's wrong? Where your homegirls? Like, if I get I'm gonna get all your homegirls number 2.
You try to be the most ridiculous that you can.
Right.
Every episode,
no, because and I'm using that. I'm being extreme because to me that's an extreme expectation. But yet you don't want to keep the same energy when it comes to. It's like you want the most, but you don't expect to give with the same energy that you require. And that's the point I'm making with that example. It's like, oh, if you want me, then it's got to be about me and my girls in this moment. Okay, bet. So when I need something from you, I need it to also be from you and all your girls, right?
Sound like #boo on Valentine's Day. He put up a post like, if your girl try to offer you sex as a gift, then tell her that, you should be able to have sex with whoever gives it to you, because who are you to turn down a gift? I said that again, ridiculous.
Or hold up, let's raise the stakes, right? If I have to cater to you and your girls, are you willing to cater to me and my boys?
Starting to sound like no. It ain't no fun if the homies can't have it.
Exactly. And I'm not even talking about, let's take sex aside. Let's say this. Okay, you comfortable enough, you about to cook a meal. Okay, bet. I need you to fix all my boys' plate.
Mm-hmm.
Bet everybody plate.
Yeah.
Right? And it's cheaper too. You didn't have to buy it. So it's like same energy. So if you're doing something for me, you need to be doing it for all of my boys as well.
Ooh, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, okay.
I mean, but so like fixing my boy's plate isn't as reasonable as buying all your girls a drink?
No, it's all unreasonable. I was just saying, wow, that's all I got. I think where I am with it, which is where I am about most things, if it's something that you want to do, pay for dinner for one person or pay for drinks for one person or the friends. If that's what you want to do, great. Expectation is on the other person, so you can't control that. Just do what it is that you want to do or not. But on the flip side, I do understand like just saying like, hey, is that expectation reasonable? And if you do flip it on the other side, like, hey, if I do this for you and your friends, are you going to do this for me and my friends? That might help folks to see how unreasonable they might.
Y'all gonna get the next round and get everybody. And but in general, I think there's a lot of things that are just not equitable in the dating process, especially considering that they don't all work out. And so it's like this expectation that men always pay and men this and this, right? And then you have this expectation that we're only trying to date you, right? That shit's expensive. Like you don't pay for shit and are probably not going out with just one dude. You know what I'm saying? These dates ain't cheap. So let's just say if on average, if I went on 2 dates in a week, right? An average day, let's say I spent $150 to $200. And I've spent $400, right? For something that one, I'm not guaranteed to have a second date, depending on how that first one went, right? And then if I do, so it's like maybe you go on a few dates. Let's say we've gone out on 5 dates. Right over the course of, let's say, a month and a half. That's pretty conservative. A month and a half, we've went out about 5 times.
Okay.
Whatever, could be drinks, could be. But on average, let's say expect to spend about $100 each time you go out. You know what I mean? And then it doesn't work. Right? Or let's just say if in a month's time you went out 5 times. It could have been we went to happy hour or we went to dinner or whatever. So let's just say it's 500. Now let's say it doesn't work out. Maybe I've been dating for a year. Over the course of the year, that adds up. So not even a whole year, but that's $5,000 after 10 months or $6,000 for the year. You see what I'm saying? That pushes a person and could push a person into a different tax bracket depending on where you currently are. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm like, I'm gonna have to date as a business and write the shit off. You know what I mean? Call it, but when you put it into numbers and math, and so now let's consider how much time we've spent on said dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say average date is 2 to 3 hours. You know what I mean? So we've done this 5 times. That's 15 hours in a month. Multiply that by 10.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I spent 150 hours, right? There's only 160 hours in a work month. So I've literally spent a month of my time, a literal month, and $6,000 dating with no guarantee that any of it was successful. You see what I'm saying? So what's the ROI? All the while, all these women is just waiting for the next guy to take them out. So what? Granted, yeah, you've spent the same amount of time. So I won't put a value on your time, but partially I will if you weren't the one paying. So it's like I'm spending time and money.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And then it's like, hey, I may like you, or or whatever, and all of that is without in a position by societal standards to say I'm still not allowed to expect anything in return from you, anything actionable. Like if I say, well, our next day, why don't you cook something? Like, can I say that? I can't even say that. I have to allow her to offer.
You can.
No, I'm saying like there's so many because a lot of responses are, what, you're not my man. Like I'm not cooking for you if you're not my man.
Well, then you can counter with what you just said. You're not my woman, so I'm not gonna blow my whole paycheck on you.
Right. So now where does that leave us in dating? Because as men, it's like we're wrong to expect anything. It's like, damn, okay.
No, I don't agree. I think, yes, generally I understand what you're saying, but I also feel like that's a way to weed out people that aren't compatible. So, to set the expectation of, I don't mind doing this for you, but I would also, and it might not even be a money thing, because I have not recently, well, I haven't recently dated anybody, but the more recent, right? Dated anybody with money issues. So it's not necessarily a financial thing that I'm aware of, but maybe they just want to know if you can cook. Or maybe you talked about it being more of a nurturing thing. Maybe they are trying to date other aspects, of you. And so if the woman can't see how, that is her contribution, if you will, to the dating process, then maybe you ain't a match. So instead of feeling like, oh, I got to continue to do something that either I don't want to do or I can't afford to do. Yeah, put it out there. Like, I would love, we having a great whatever, because Mexican is one of my favorites, right? Like, oh, great. Like, what kind of Mexican food you like? You like tacos, enchiladas? Like, what do you cook? I would love to see how yours match up against El Torito or La Barca or wherever you go.
I mean, because the thing is,
El Cholo.
Once I cook, I end up being the one cooking.
Well, then there's that, right? Because you could do it guilty too. Like, you do it time, and it's
exactly
Taco Tuesday.
Like you are right. And we ain't even dating. But how many times have you come over for tacos and you've been the one cooking tacos?
Yeah, it's like, oh no, I don't.
Exactly.
Not at your house. At this point, I could though. I wouldn't even mind. I could do that in my sleep almost. I got a couple of more additions to show you to kind of. Well, then you got it. I'll just come by. I'm
gonna show you. I'm gonna show you.
Well, you could do that on the Zoom. Put your little camera over there.
But what I mean is, I feel like what you're alluding to is on a case by case basis. Though.
It's adult. Like, if you're an adult, you say what you. I feel you want everybody to think like this, and I'm saying find the people. No. One, I don't disagree. Right, you're not going to get an entire gender to change their entire, because I said that when we was talking about the come through. So same energy. I get it. Get it. I'm passionate when my head gets to bobbling. Right, I just noticed I was doing it. So same energy. But what I'm talking about is the existence of the narrative, right? Like the fact that the fact that I have to voice, hey, I would like you to do this, because the general consensus is
not to expect anything. It's like you do, I receive until I've received enough to now feel comfortable to do. Right.
And for every woman, that time frame is different. Some women come out the gate matching, and some do take a little more time.
But the fact is, the fact that there's not a willingness to out the gate reciprocate that what you expect is troubling. And I get that's how things are. That's the thing men have to accept, but it doesn't make it not fucked up.
Okay. Accept.
That's all I'm saying.
Accept. Accept.
So that leads us to today's topic, which is actually a good segue as far as receiving love. Right. Today we're talking about love languages, right? And typically when we're talking about love languages, we're talking about how someone loves, but I think it's also important to know how you receive love, right? Like what's your love language? How do you receive love, and what are you good at? Because also what I find is even though we're talking about love languages, I've experienced love in the sense where she was only comfortable loving me in ways that she was good at loving me, right? Via her love language. Well, this is what I'm good at, so this is what I do. Right.
And I think most people are that way.
Right. But there were things that I needed, and for her to speak a different language as well, because while I accept that, that's great. What I actually need is a different language. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And I think that when we don't, and I wonder if, that's a question that we can ask ourselves, is like, is it truly about only requiring that which someone is comfortable or good at doing, or do we expect them to grow, and are they not being their authentic selves? Or is it, if you love somebody, then you will learn to love them in the language that they receive? I'm saying, like, there's that duality of it. So for those who don't know what the love languages are, they are physical touch, words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, and gift giving. Those are the 5 love languages. I feel like there's more,
Tacos.
Listen, tacos is a love language all its own. And if you come through and I make you tacos,
you are loved.
You
or at least really liked. Okay.
Strong respect. Like, first of all, if I let you in my space, let's just start there.
That's true. You already halfway there.
Everybody don't make it to the back cave. And then if you make it a second time, and this is not even in a romantic setting. This is shit, friend, foe, lover, whatever. If I let you in here, if you know where I live.
Hell, I don't even know. I mean, I have the address, but I could.
Right.
Don't mean nothing from here.
Yeah. So I don't know.
You know it better than me if you know where he lives right now. Okay.
That's funny. I've given you the virtual tour.
Oh yeah. Well, yeah.
I mean, it's different
around there.
It's different being here.
I'm excited to see it. I really had a plan, and COVID came through and kicked the door in on us. But
since we talked about it, I've automated, like, the entire place is automated now. So y'all, I'm a bit of a gadget guy. I'm a techie gadget guy. I love shit like that. So I've automated my my entire house. Like, everything that's can plug in or is on a switch is now voice activated. So I don't have to get up and turn off shit. And they're on timer, so at a certain time.
Do you watch 911?
I don't.
Oh, okay. It's not gonna be funny. Well, it was a guy who had his whole house automated like that, but his ex, I guess, had access to it, so she was controlling stuff from her iPad or tablet somewhere else. So he's telling, equal to Alexa, I don't know what her name was, telling her, like, turn on the shower water or whatever. He turn it on, set it to this degree, and so she's over where she can see him. Turning the water, the temperature up, end up burning the F.
So funny story. It's also I also have Alexa in my office at work, and it's connected to my home network, so I can control my house from work and vice versa. Right? Turn my light. Like, if I forget to turn my lights off in my office or whatever, I can do that from home. So some kids got in trouble and they were in my office. And, you know, I'm giving them the riot act or whatever. And so I had walked out the office and they saw Alexa on my desk. So kids are kids. And so they started playing with it. You know, they start saying shit, doing it. Because I think they saw him turn. No, when we walked in, they heard me turn my lights on. And so they started telling her to do stuff like turn lights on. And I think she said office. They said office, but it's not my work office. It's my home office. That's the command. So at work, I say work. And at home, I say office. So they're trying to turn the stuff on at work. And they in here turning shit on and on. So I get home that day and it doesn't dawn on. I get home and all my shit is just on. Like certain things is on. It's just, my house is just doing shit. And I'm like, the fuck? I thought somebody had broke in or whatever. Come to find out, they little asses was because I came back to work and telling my boss what happened, and he was like, "You know what? There was kids in your office saying stuff to you. They was like, because he had to go in there and tell them to stop playing with it in there, and come to find out they were and they were controlling the shit at my house."
That's so funny, but probably scary to walk in and everything is
right because you know me, I'm like the fuck. Like, so yeah. But yeah, so those are the love languages, y'all. And I just it's dating is hard, y'all.
We got rules, we got languages. And if it's a language you don't speak, it's like literally learning a new verbal language. Like, I wonder, what do you feel like the most difficult language would be if it's not your natural language? What would be the most difficult language to learn and walk in to love your partner? I guess anyone that is not yours, right? Because I could say one, but somebody else might say another. But two that I think I have, because physical touch and quality time to me, you know, generally are kind of close. So there are people who like, they really rely on that. And if the partner to that person is real kind of easy breezy, they have a hard time with that. Like, oh my God, I gotta see this person, you know, X amount of times a week, and it's gotta be uninterrupted, and we gotta be looking at each other, and that's not their natural get down. Or you can have someone that's dating someone who has words of affirmation as their love language.
I think that's the hardest.
They're not, and they are not necessarily verbal like that. So I've experienced it being the person whose love language is words of affirmation, and watching or experiencing that person in the struggle. So I know, like, and it's not clearly that they don't love or care, but it's like, I never thought of that, or I didn't. And
it's also knowing what to say.
Yeah, I was like, they are.
Yeah, you look
minty.
Pretty. Yeah. You look minty. Oh Lord Jesus. Whew.
Yeah, so it could be any of them, but yeah, I think if you're not really verbal, or like you said, just kind of not really sure of what to say, and the person that you're with receives love primarily in that way, it could be really, really tricky.
Right.
Or can feel that way. What I will say about that in general that I learned as a lesson is really patience, right? Like, and all of it, all the advice and stuff that we give, I think it really is on a person-to-person basis. It's not going to work for everybody. But if you are with somebody that you deem to be worth getting to know and work with as they do the same for you, then patience is my number one kind of piece of advice with that. Being clear about what your own love language is. Because sometimes I think people are just like, they're mad that their needs aren't getting met, but they haven't even identified it.
Right.
I became familiar with the 5 Love Languages book. Gary Chapman wrote it, just for those who may not have heard of it. At this point in time, I feel like everybody, even if you don't know all of them, you kind of,
a lot of people don't know that it's a book.
Okay, that might be what it is. So yes, it's a book. I became aware of it more in the context of business, in terms of the people that I would come in contact with and how they respond to certain things or not. So when I read it, it wasn't even in, it's written in a romantic context, but that's not how I applied it initially. But once I, kind of got it, I was like, oh man, next relationship I'm in, I would love to read this with my partner, blah, blah, blah. So I'm seeing this guy and, I thought, okay, he's fairly intellectual, or he's intellectual. He's intellectual. So I don't think he would run from the idea of, reading a book together, right? Both college educated, yada, yada, yada. So I sent the book via Amazon, because I already had it. I sent the book to him. So I wasn't like, go get the book, buy the book, don't spend your own money to get the book. My idea, my moolah, sent it, right?
You were intentional.
I was intentional. And so, we're chatting, whatever. So Amazon Prime lets you know, or Amazon period lets you know when your stuff gets delivered, right? So we're talking. I'm like, dang, dude. Maybe they put it in the bushes. I don't know. Hey, did you get a package today? He's like, yeah, I got it. And I'm like, oh. I was like, so I was like, well, I thought this would be a great book for us to, I've already read it, but I would love to read it with you and kind of see what you think and blah, blah, blah. He was like, oh, okay. Crickets. That was the long and the short. And if that didn't let me know, I mean, maybe that wasn't necessarily supposed to be the sign, but I think I knew at that point in time, especially because I'd already verbalized, like, this is what I want. And I think this would be great for the next relationship, not just for them, but really for me too. And that he didn't show any kind of interest, not necessarily in reading the book, but I was like, even in having the discussion, I didn't know what his love language was, which made me feel like maybe he doesn't know or care about mine. So then you're less likely to apply it. Gotcha. So shut that down. Fast forward into time. I am, talking to hashtag boo. We're, literally like talking at this point, just talking. And, he was talking about reading different things and whatnot and how he, dedicates a certain amount of time to reading regularly, which really got me to get my act together at that point in time. I was like, dang, I should be reading more. And so he's like, oh, have you heard of this book called The 5 Love Languages? And some years of,
your little heart just said,
I was just like, oh my God, we're back.
Oh,
we're back,
Lord.
So yeah.
And I think it's important that it's really a win when someone's natural love language, how they show love, it matches the way that you receive love. Oh. Right. That's a win. But sometimes it's effort. So I remember Maisha was telling me about a book she was reading. She and her then husband, The DNA of Relationships, right? Which speaks to and she sent me the book. Okay. And which it speaks to what we said before, as far as like the willingness to do what the other person needs, right? And so an example from the book that she gave is like, love is like a restaurant, right? Where one person is the customer and the other is the waiter, right? And so sometimes disconnects is literally like a waiter serving the customer what the waiter wants them to have versus what they're ordering, right? And so it's like, if I'm ordering pasta, I love, I like spaghetti. I like, pasta with marinara sauce, but what I really love is Alfredo, right?
Alfredo, yeah.
So I order some Alfredo, like, fettuccine Alfredo with some chicken and shrimp, basic enough. But the waiter was like, and the waiter was like, oh, we have that, but you know what? We make such a great marinara sauce. I'm gonna bring you the spaghetti. I'm like,
dude.
I like spaghetti. I like spaghetti. I like spaghetti. Spaghetti's pretty good.
Yeah.
But in this moment, what I need Alfredo. Yeah. That's what
I want.
Right. Yeah. That's what I would really love right now. And sometimes it's what I need, right?
Right.
Oh yeah, I know. I know that, and Alfredo is great, but it's just not as good as our marinara. And that's what we specialize in. So I'm gonna bring you that. As a matter of fact, in that same sauce, and I can bring you a sample of like our lasagna too, because that's got the sauce in it. Our stuffed shit is like all this, like that's what we're famous for. That's what we're famous for. But you know what? Like, I know the name of the restaurant is Pierre's Famous Marinara. I know you're famous for that, but I know you also make Alfredo, and I get that it's not as good as your marinara. But but it's still better than the Alfredo I've had before. And I would really love some Alfredo. Can you bring me the Alfredo, please? But but have you tried our marinara before? Like I feel like you haven't tried our marinara. If you tried the marinara,
it's good.
It would really
good example.
And I'm like, okay. Without putting my business out there and talking about my past, I actually have GERD, and the doctor wants me to stay away from tomato-based products.
Oh,
right? So when you bring me marinara, it stirs up this condition that I have, and it's not really good. And I react aversely to that. So if you don't mind, I would really just please, can you bring me some Alfredo? And they go, sure thing, coming right up. And they bring you fucking marinara anyway. And they say, I know you said Alfredo, and I know I said that I was gonna bring it, but I just really love how I do marinara, and I really want you to try my marinara. And
you're gonna fall in love with this.
Because I want you to fall in love with my marinara. Like this marinara is not even gonna give you GERD. I'm sure of it. I took the acid out.
So then is it really marinara?
Right. And so now, but then you eat the marinara anyway, because by this time you're just
hungry. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna
tired of going.
I'm tired of the back and forth. I'm hungry, and it does to me the exact thing that I said it was going to do. And now you're mad at me because I'm upset, or because I'm having this reaction. And now I'm crazy. I'm this, I'm that. You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, like, can you just learn to make a great Alfredo? And I'll be patient. As long as you keep giving me Alfredo, and the more you make the Alfredo, I'm pretty sure you're going to get better at it.
Yes.
And you'll learn how to make it exactly how I like it. But you gotta want to try to make the Alfredo. You know what I'm saying?
I should applaud you right now. That is good. That was really, really good. Somebody got to look past the offering plate. That was probably the clearest explanation of what we do or have been done to us with partners who completely disregard. And it's not malicious because like you said, right? Like marinara, I like it. Most folks, like it or whatever. And it might really, really be good. But I'm literally asking you for the thing that I really want and or need, and you double down on the thing that I'm not asking for versus. And so what is that, right? Like what I'm giving you the roadmap, right? Like this is exactly what it takes to make me happy, to satisfy me, to keep me in a good place or whatever. But you go in the opposite direction. What is that?
I think a lot of times it could be a lot of things. It could be fear. It could be pride. It could be selfishness. You know what I mean? It could be ego, because it's like for somebody to not love your marinara when you have perfected it. Like I think it's more about you than it is the person that you're serving it to. You know what I'm saying? Because I want to serve you this marinara, and not only, and after I want to hear how great it is. Kind of like with me and tacos, right? Like for me, my tacos is regular. Like, but everyone loves my tacos. And then one day I might date somebody who doesn't like tacos, and I'm kind of like, the fuck? Nah, I need to make you ain't have my tacos, though. You ain't have my tacos. When you have these tacos, you're gonna love tacos after this. But generally, they just in general don't like tacos, and it's like it's hard to fathom someone. Like my god sister doesn't like tacos. She likes burritos, she likes nachos, she does not like tacos. It's the weirdest thing,
right?
But at the same time, it's like I specialize. If someone says, "What's my favorite food to make?" Somebody, it's undoubtedly tacos, right? And so to be with someone who, let's not even say it's not even that they eat tacos. Let's say I serve them tacos and they don't like them. They're like, "Oh, that was cool." Wait, cool. Nah, everybody loves my tacos. What you talking about? That's about me. That's ego.
Mm-hmm. Right,
it will be hard for me to accept and digest that you just think my tacos are just okay. I need you to rave about them. You know what I'm saying? Instead of growing in whatever they like to eat, you know, but their palate could be something different. They're used to something else, you know? And so to that, like, I actually went out a few times with someone who has a homeboy who's a chef, and he likes to cook for, you know, her and her friends and stuff like that. Or they're all friends. And so like his thing is he cooks for them. And I follow dude on Instagram, and the stuff that he's making, I'm looking at, I'm like, man, dude, cold. And so here I come with some, hey, you want some tacos? You know, but now that I think of it, consider this though. Consider this. What is this? Where the example where she has this friend, right? And let's say the friend is an ex, and he's a chef, gourmet chef, and he's making all this fancy name shit, lobster this and cream of that,
right?
And sauteed whatever, right? And you know you got to add some glaze
with the reduction
such all the shit, right? And it looks, and you find, and I'm looking, I see it, I'm like, damn, nigga, that shit looks phenomenal, right? And you come through, and she's like, yeah, you said you made some tacos. Why don't you go make some tacos? And now I'm insecure about, because they just tacos. I don't make crab this and you're like, I've seen what you eat. I've seen what he makes you. I can't make that. You see what I'm saying? So now I won't make tacos at all. I won't make anything.
Oh. Because
I know I can't do that. And I'm assuming in my head that when I make this, you're not going to receive it the way, because you might have been talking about, he makes this great this. And I'm like, well, I can't do that. So I'm not doing anything. You see what I'm saying? Because I have an insecurity that it's not going to measure up. When the reality is, yes, he was great in this area, but I like this. I just want some simple shit. Like he makes all this gourmet shit. I really just, you know, can you
do a good grilled cheese?
Can you make a bomb grilled cheese? Can you make a good burger and fries? Can you like nigga? I get tired of all this fancy shit all the time. I just want something.
She gonna wind up with gout with all the rich,
right? With all the, yeah. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like it takes too long to prepare that goddamn food, and he always got to make sure the table is like. Sometimes I'm just hungry and I want to eat something right now.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And so what you bring could still be exactly what they need, but if you compare it to something that they had before. Because in your head, they are better. In her head, it may be like, yeah, the nigga can cook his ass off, but he beat the shit out of me after dinner.
That part.
You see what I'm saying? And so it's like, yeah, the food was great, but there was no intimacy. Or the food, he created great food, but the nigga smacks when he eats and runs the fork across his teeth and has his elbows on the table and it has no decor, whatever, and fucks up the whole experience. So you have this, and so it's like, oh, he's got a lot of money, but he treats me poorly, or whatever. You see what I'm saying? And so I just think that there's a lot of different dynamics to it. And there has to be a willingness to grow, or sometimes somebody might say, hey, I'm used to this gourmet shit. And I'm like, I don't, I can improve my cooking, but that's not, being able to cook on that level takes a skill, or, you know what I mean? So it's like, hey, I can do this. I can try to get in here and do this, but understand it may never be that.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like if it's words of affirmation and you dated a fucking poet, you know, my shit might be roses are red. Your ass is fat. When you get home from work, I'ma need that. You know, what I meant to say is I want to make love to you today.
Right.
Whatever, but that's, you know,
that's gonna be how it come out.
Right. But then you might get a woman say, oh, my ass fat. Right. My ass, you think my ass fat? Hey, that the little noise y'all do with the and the tongue out thing. I don't know where. Yeah, that's where does that even come? Oh, Cardi B watching that.
Oh, please. That was happening before Cardi.
I'm sure. I just got to throw it on somebody. Where's she been at? Meg just took over, huh?
Right. She's too busy running after Offset. Set off, whatever.
Yeah, she ain't had a challenge in a few months.
Thank goodness.
Meg got 3 challenges out there. Where you at, Corey?
Dang.
You ain't did none since why?
And that was with Meg.
And that was with Meg. I should get, you know. Yeah. But I digress. So
yeah. That was, I mean, all of that, very, very good, you know, to even talk about, you know, the insecurities that you may face or have, you know, trying to compare yourself to what the last person did, or shutting down completely, all of that. I think those are very, very good points. I'd also, you know, be willing to venture, like, yes, we want to be loved the way that we want to be loved, but also there's an opportunity to learn that you enjoy another language, right? Like you were born speaking, or you were taught English as your first language, and then someone introduces you to Espanol, you know, and you're like, wow, I'm really good at this, or this really feels good, or whatever. I like this. And so there's opportunity there. I think the main thing that you pointed out so eloquently with that first example is that you can't force something down someone's throat, right? Like, especially if they're doing like this, you know, it's like, and you're trying to spoon feed them or shovel it down their throat. I think being willing to share the way that you show love, and then on the other side, being willing to receive it so that you can say like, wow, this is actually good. Like, I know my primary love language is words of affirmation. I show love greatly with words of affirmation. Conversely, I know how to show you I don't love you with words, right? So there, I will flip it around. Same
words of condemnation.
Right. Same weapon, okay? But one is used to aid you and one is used to injure. So I know that about myself, and it is easier for me to go or to get a card or write you a letter or anything like that, just telling you how wonderful you are. And then of course, receiving that if and when that's done for me. When faced with, you know, a situation or relationship where that was not my partner's lead out, if you will, it took me for a loop. Like, I had to really like you said, like, oh, I like this spaghetti, right? Like the way I was being showed love was not bad, but I felt by and large like something's missing, right? Like I don't. And then that did a number on my head, because then I was like, well, should I feel this way? Because I absolutely know that this person cares. Look at all the stuff, you know, that they're doing and how they're showing. And maybe, yes, I've just encountered somebody that shows it differently. Am I being ungrateful, right? To ask for what I want? Does this mean the spaghetti goes away because I asked for Alfredo, right? So there's like kind of all that in your head. And so ultimately, I did decide to have the conversation. I'm glad that I did, because that's when we got into, oh shoot, yeah, it's kind of foreign to me. Not that I wouldn't, A, I didn't know, but B, let me figure out how to, right? And then you start seeing the seeds planted. Because also, to your point, right, they're not going to come out with the gourmet meal. They might come out with hot dogs and grilled cheese and a hamburger, because they're figuring it out. So it's patience and it's grace and appreciation, period. And then also, I think as you show them, right, like you show them what it looks like, because it's your native language. So sometimes you have to speak to them just like you teach children, right? Like, how do we teach them how to speak whatever language they ultimately speak? You have to speak to them in that language so that they can also recognize it, like, oh, okay. And potentially model it. Like when Deshaun and Amber was on, and she said, you know, hey, I need you to be more romantic. Now, I know, he probably had been doing all kind of stuff that she found to be wonderful, but this was the area that she's like, and I have to say something. And I applaud my brother. Get down. He's like, well, I don't know what the hell she means, but I'm going to ask YouTube, right? YouTube got the answer. And what did that do for her, right?
But the crazy part is the most romantic thing that he did was try.
That was it, right? Just the fact that
it was not the fact that
was trying.
Yeah, when he was in there, and anything that he could have done that came from watching that video would never match up to the fact that he was in the bathroom,
right,
watching the video. Like I want to learn how.
Tell me how to be romantic.
Yeah. And so for y'all that don't know, first of all, y'all need to go watch that episode.
Yes.
Right. With Riley and Deshaun. On the show. What did we name that episode? I forgot.
Big Girl Energy. BGE part 1 and 2. Yeah,
BG is 2 parts. Awesome. It's probably about 3 hours of content because there were longer episodes. BGE. So go watch those. But what we're talking about is there was a moment when they were learning each other, and she decided to have the conversation with him and said that she needs more romance from him, right? And that's not his thing,
athlete.
Like he's an athlete, he's a protector, provider type, And so he was going to take a shower, and she was, sitting on the couch, and she can hear like some noise or some video, but she heard another voice other than his.
Yeah.
And so she went and like listened to the bathroom, and she can hear him Googling or a YouTube video how to be more romantic. So she heard a video playing explaining ways to be more romantic.
So dope.
And I was like, you cried, didn't you? And she was in tears.
Yeah, because that matters. Like, again, understanding that there is a language barrier is one thing, and then expressing to your partner what you want and or need, and then them, if it's not natural for them to be able to go, okay, let me go research this, let me find out. That is a wonderful thing. Now, there are some of us who have, maybe a primary, secondary. So I got lucky that my secondary is my partner's soul anyway. So it was not hard for me to receive and or give. Now we had some work, of course, because my primary was something else, but for some people they can flip flop, or they can give you both and you feel like, oh God, I got everything. But many times when you have that divide, it's because your languages literally are East and West. Like my first example around, the quality time and physical touch folks. And then you might have people that are, words or gifts or what, something other than those. And you're like, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to do, in some cases, some things that I don't even like. It's one thing to not know how, or not be skilled at something, and it's another if your partner wants the stuff that you like. That I can't imagine that now. Somebody gonna have to tell me about how you get through that, or is that a deal breaker, right? Like, okay, your word, not your words of affirmation, your love language is gift giving, or in this case, receiving, and I'm like, I gotta buy you a gift every time,
right?
The fuck?
Yeah. The fuck? Yeah. And it's crazy because I wonder, as you grow and mature, do your love languages change, like your primaries? And I'm pretty sure they do. I think I need to go back because I haven't dated in so long, or been in a relationship in so long, that I probably have to go take inventory on what are my primary and secondary languages, because I think that I toggle between 3, which is acts of service, physical touch, and words of affirmation. No, acts of service, physical touch, words of affirmation. So it's like I thrive on all 3, right? If I'm, and that's feeling
why long distance doesn't work for you.
Exactly, I'm a proxy. You can't get physical touch, that, or acts of service for that matter.
Makes sense. Okay.
And there's simple acts of service, like and I had to explain that it's not about being subservient, but it's a love language. Like, I love for a woman to fix my plate, Like I love that. You know what I mean? And it's not about like a dominance thing or whatever. It's just, for me, it's such an act of love, right? Like servitude is love, and I don't mind doing it. I don't mind fixing the plate, like I'm cooking, fixing plates, whatever. So it's not something that I don't also reciprocate. I enjoy serving, like, and when it's my time to cook, I prefer you sit down and do nothing, like just move and let me handle it. Because I take enjoyment from allowing you to relax, and just it takes a skill to be served. You know what I'm saying? I struggle with it sometimes, even though I love it. You know what I mean? Because I'm like, oh, what can I do? You need some help with, because you feel like you don't want to feel like a burden. You know what I mean? And so when someone can put you at ease and make you not feel like a burden, and it's just like, hey, like here, and it's not. I love that.
Yeah.
But I think at this age, it's like taking inventory on what's my primary. What do I value more? I'm not big. Like, I love quality time, but I wouldn't say that that's like, because I'm always doing something. You know what I mean?
Same.
I would much rather maximize the time that we do spend rather than, oh, we got to have all the time. I don't need that. I need spaces to be creative and to create things and to think and stuff like that. But the time that we do allocate for each other, I want to maximize that, so I'm not all on the phone. I try my best. And I think that's why physical touch kind of comes in, because when you touch me the right way, I'm not thinking about anything else but this moment, this touch that I'm receiving. That level of if she's like rubbing my back or rubbing my head, or I'm the guy that likes to lay in your lap. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just, for me, it's I escape into you. You know what I mean? Because I'm able to, nothing that, like, I'm getting beat up. I got all this other stuff. Even when I'm being creative, when I could be thinking about the podcast, I could be thinking about the books and all this other stuff that we do and work on. And sometimes I need to escape from that. And so when someone is touching you in such a way that, oh shit, like nothing else exists other than that. It's almost like a little puppy when you stop petting them and they like, wait, what the fuck? Fuck you doing? And then they try to paw your hand back over, like, nah, nigga, that was too good. Like, come on, and I will fall asleep. I will just like zen, you know what I'm saying? When done properly, or that connection, that level of intimacy is there. And so it's important because my mind does not stop. It does not rest. And so for someone to be able to pull me out of that mania of my own brain, even if for a moment, it's like thank you, like, you know what I'm saying? So now I can recharge and kind of get some clarity, or not take something as seriously as I did, or not be like, I'm not, when you receive that, I'm not upset, I'm not angry, because I'm not thinking about it. And I think we stay angry because we're still living in the moment of what happened to us, or sad, or whatever emotion, right? To where it's just this place of, it's not even happiness, it's emptiness. It's like, it's nothingness. Nothing exists but that feeling, that touch. And it's a skill. And for someone to have that naturally, to naturally be able to do it, it's like, you know what I'm saying? You get lost in it.
I love it. I love it. Well, while we're talking about physical touch, let's discuss some, things that you can try if your partner's love language is physical touch, and also some things that you may want to avoid, because you might think, hey, I'm doing something.
Teeth. Avoid teeth. I don't care what you're doing. Rule of thumb: avoid using your teeth. That's for men and women alike. If you really want to, the not to do's, if you ever have to think too hard about it, just say, hey, don't use your teeth.
So now you got one.
Unless specifically requested.
My Lord. And then that's a whole different episode.
Yeah. Generally, teeth are not desirable. Have nice teeth. But don't always,
But don't.
We are a dental friendly podcast. We believe in teeth.
All right. Here we go. Things to try. offering massages, initiating intimacy, making hugs a habit. Do you like hugs? Are you a hugger?
I love a good hug, especially when she's soft and she smell good. I'll be like,
oh shoot.
I love to inhale it. I'm telling too much. Let me shut up.
Okay. Yeah, somebody making their little playlist.
Make his play, rub his head.
They know what to do. Draw up the plays. A non-sexual touch that reminds them of your presence. So it could just be like maybe putting your hand on their leg or something, right? Or holding hands while you're driving or something like that. Putting your arm around them or embracing them. So that's your physical touch. Things to avoid. So we already have one. What was yours?
Teeth.
There you go.
Avoid using teeth.
All right. Number 2, avoid long periods without intimacy. So clearly they're to do, and then your not to do is to not do it, right? Or not do it. Right. Coldly giving affection. So just like, maybe just
come here.
Just okay. For those of you not watching YouTube, you're bad for not watching YouTube. You should be on YouTube.
You come yet? You close?
Oh God. Yeah. Let's just say, don't do things just to check off the boxes. Okay.
Fellas, do not ever accept head from an angry woman. Let me tell you, it involves teeth.
That sounds rough. And then waiting for your partner to express their desire for physical affection. So if they have to ask you for it or remind you about it, that's probably.
How do you ask for head? Like, have you?
What? I guess that's how you do it. Like, or pat your leg. Like,
lay your head right here.
Oh,
because you feel like it's always damn offensive if you say it. You damn sure can't push your head down like, so you you about to, what you like? You just try to put it like closer to her.
See, if you're not on YouTube, you should be.
And you can imagine how that's just sound like this. Just plop on your forehead like.
That can't be done with just anybody. That has to be, y'all got to be in that zone. And if you're in that zone, then she likely already knows. And it
sound like Akeem on Coming to America when she was mad. Yeah, so you think we can?
Indeed.
Yeah.
So that's physical touch. That's physical touch. Quality time. I think you were talking about even before that. So here are some do's and don'ts. Try being mentally present when you are with them. This is something that I definitely need.
Put your phone down.
Yeah, that's number 2. Well, not necessarily number 2, but it's on there. Uninterrupted time, for example, putting your phone down. I definitely being mentally present, I think, is my number 1, because even if my phone is down, I'm probably wondering, what am I missing? How many emails am I going to come back to? So and so and blah. So being mentally present is definitely a place that I can work on. Making plans to explore new places, right? Your partner might want to get out, COVID friendly, and explore some things that are outside of your norm. Creating small moments to connect, because everything doesn't have to be grand, right? Like it can be, hey, let's bike over to the park, or let's walk and get some ice cream, or let's just walk, quality and deep conversation, which is something that you can do as you're walking or biking or whatever it is that well, maybe not biking unless you guys are keeping the same pace.
Right.
You'd be like, hey.
Over here.
So those are some good tips for quality time. I know some other things that friends of mine try, like they have a standard date night, right? So that is your time together. And if that works for both parties, that might be a good tip as well. Avoid being distracted when you are with them. viewing your partner as needy. Now, I definitely have heard people characterize their partner that hilarious. That is how they are characterized. And if that is your love language, your partner has probably to the homies. Okay. In a whisper where you can't hear.
Listen.
Oh.
Hold up.
Right. From the bathroom, that bathroom story.
Yeah.
Coming out from out the frame into the frame.
All right.
Scaring the mess out of you. But yeah. Look.
For those y'all.
If you're not on YouTube, this is the third time I said it.
And and if you have, that actually literally happened to me. That
coming out like, what in the world? But yes, so viewing your partner as needy, but more importantly, expressing that. Like if that's how you view it, hopefully you are shifting in your view. But until then, please don't verbalize that. Complaining about time spent together, which I think is the same thing. Even if you don't say that they're needy, if you're complaining about that time together, that doesn't make them feel good either, because that's their language. That's just like somebody literally making fun of the language that you speak. Preparing for other engagements when you're together. So we're together, but shit, I got to plan out next week's brunch and this and the meeting so it's almost like you're not there. So those are some things to look out for and to put into play if you're not already doing it.
Yeah, a couple of things my dad used to always say is wherever you are, be there. And he said, people laugh when I repeat this one. He was like, son, the main thing is to keep the main thing. The main thing.
My grandmother says that. Yes.
So
that's it. And it can be hard. It definitely can be hard sometimes. And so that's why when we use the different analogies and examples about food, right? Like it may not be gourmet. You may start off with some appetizers, or you may start off with some cold dishes until you can do it. So we don't expect, if that's not your love language, or if you're just brand new to it, that you go from 0 to 100. But being mindful of these things can also help you to correct. So if you're in a moment where you go to grab your phone, then you might at least like, oh shoot, this is probably not the way.
I think it's also you have to prime your partner for receiving new love languages as well, because if it's a love language that they're not comfortable with or they don't enjoy, giving or receiving. So it's kind of like, if you're someone who is not quality time and you're pushing for quality time, and it's like, I got to do this, you know what I'm saying? Then you need to make that quality time quality.
Yeah.
Like if that's what it's like, hey, I'm saying I need quality time from you. So the reasonable service is to fill that time with things that are quality, even if it's, hey, we're going to do nothing, but we're going to do it great. Whatever that nothing is, it's like, we're just going to be, because it's like, hey, maybe they like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not someone who needs all my time filled with things.
Yeah.
In activities, like every moment needs to be accounted for. I don't need that. Like, hey,
I got enough.
Let's just chill. Like I like to just exist. Let's just be, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes I can communicate with you without ever saying a word. Like sometimes I just want you in the same room with me. Or sometimes just in the same house. We don't even have to be in the same room. I just know that you're there, and I can take a break from what I'm doing and come steal a kiss. And then go back.
And sometimes because that's not my native language, if you will, I'll be like, what's wrong?
What you do?
Now, or not even that he did something. I'm like, are you leaving? Like, it doesn't compute that that's a just because type situation. Now I'm aware, but I'd be like, what's going on? It catch you off guard.
You ain't gonna sit here and tell me #boo is romantic, are you?
No, I didn't say that out loud because I don't want to get in trouble. I'm just
because
he loves me. I'll just say that. Okay. He loves me, and I appreciate that. I love him too. So let's get into some of these other words of affirmation. So this is for me and you, or one of our languages. Try leaving encouraging notes. I tell you, okay, like I'm not looking to leave Earth soon, but on the day I pass, okay, folks is about to find cards, notes, from. If you want to know what happened in my life, it's like, there go that little box at the top of the closet. I keep almost everything. And particularly if you write in it. Like if you just give me a random Hallmark card, I probably have, I've read it, but I'm really going to keep it if you put, your own sentiments in there, or if you wrote something yourself. And I remember my dad, one day he was actually telling #, but we were there for a holiday. Probably was Christmas, or maybe it was his birthday or something. And he was like, Andrea gives the best cards, and she never just signs the card. She always has a message. And I thought of it and I was like, wow, like I do. But the fact that, he attributes that to me like all these years, and I've done that, since I was, I guess, able to get my own cards or whatever. So that part is important. And it doesn't have to be a whole bunch of anything. You could leave just thinking of you on the whiteboard before you go to work, or something on a Post-it, and leave it on the TV. There's little simple things that you can do. But
also y'all got to remember there's a flip side to that, because while she'll write you a nice note, nigga, I have gotten scathing emails when I have messed up in this friendship.
Check. Bullet point.
She's like, I need you to check your email. My email, like, listen.
You haven't gotten one of those in a long time.
I have not gotten written up in a long time.
No write-ups. Oh, here's a good one. Create a playlist of songs that remind you of them. I create my own playlists, but if somebody created one for me, boo. On and popping. It'll be on and popping. Love that. Because music is also, it should be a love language as far as I'm concerned. Sharing sentiments for your partner's successes and struggles. So noticing the things that they've overcome or the things that they've achieved in, and making remarks or comments about that. No,
listen, don't mess that one up.
Oh.
I got a story. I'm gonna let you finish, but I got a story for your ass on that. Go ahead.
Okay. Complimenting them, and then giving them words of appreciation. So, you do this well, so on and so forth. Avoid assuming that they know how loved they are. And they might really know how loved they are, but there's something about hearing it, right? Like hearing somebody say, I love you. Now, clearly, well, maybe we shouldn't say clearly because that's an assumption too. It's really not enough just to do that either. And I think for people whose love language is words of affirmation, maybe folks on the other side think like, all I have to do is gas her or gas him. And that's not really it. It really is kind of like the cherry on top. So it's the things that come with it that affirm that that language that you use. Assuming that they know you are proud of them. And, we see that in children. The parents are like, I gave you everything you wanted. I put you through school. I came to everything. Like, but you never said you were proud of me. It means something. Avoid emotionally harsh words, because the same way that you can build someone up that has words of affirmation as their love language, you can also do a number on them or cause them to kind of have an issue there. And then not recognizing or appreciating their efforts overall. That's the thing. So go ahead with your story, and then I have the last two love languages.
Yeah. It was a Malcolm and Marie moment. Actually, it was like it was a big night for me, and she fucked it up. Like, so we had the grand opening of one of our businesses, and it was that is nice little Beverly Hills restaurant. Was it Felipe Chow? I don't know. It was years ago.
Yeah.
So you were there that night.
Oh, I should have been.
Yeah. And so we just had this whole event cracking, and everyone's there, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, good job, good job." She shows up late. Like, you don't even show up on my arm. You show up late, right? That's number one. Everybody notices it because they're like, "Hey, where's, you know what I'm saying, such and such and such." So there was already a problem before that. It's like, because I was doing this business with mostly women, you know, that was on the team. It's like, oh, all these women you working with all the time. I'm like, well, why don't you come around so they'll know you?
And vice versa. Yeah.
So now they're coming in and everybody's celebrating me and you know, all this other stuff. I'm getting all this love. And so I'm like, oh, well, there's such and such and such, you know, why don't you go, let's go mingle and talk to them or whatever. I don't want to talk to these bitches. Like, really? And so how, like, these are the ones, the women I work with and everything. And so it's like, then it was, oh, they over there acting like, looking at me crazy. Like, I think it was like the Zetas or something like that, looking at me crazy. So I'm like,
because you acting.
It's like, is everything going to be about you tonight? Like, and so now I'm like, let's get up. Why don't you come with me? Come on my arm. Let's mingle. Let me introduce you around the room so people know who you are. And so I can mingle around the room, you know, and it's not like, if I'm moving by myself and you over here sitting down, it looks hella bad. Like, what's wrong with y'all? Or what's wrong with her?
Right.
But you don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so that part where everyone migrated from the bar area to the lounge area. And so I was like, hey, let's go do a lap, so I can introduce you. Everybody know you my woman. Like, let me walk around the room, my woman on my arm. Said hi to like two people, and then okay, I'm gonna go sit back down. I'm like, we ain't done
the other half.
So now everybody's in this room, and I'm like, do I stay in this room and mingle because this is my event, or do I got to come and sit out here with you by herself because no one else is literally in this room?
Yeah, that's what she wanted.
Cause you mad. And I was like, well, why y'all not? And now everyone, why y'all not in here? And I got about, oh, so what do you say to, like, you sitting over here in this room while everyone else is in there? Someone's like, why y'all not in there? What am I supposed to say? Because if I say, oh, she don't want to be in there, now I got you looking crazy, and now you're gonna be even more mad,
more upset.
So it's like that celebrating successes and stuff like that, like,
that's important.
Why it was, and I felt like it was intentional. You know what I mean?
I feel like that too, listening to the story. I probably felt like it if I was aware in the moment.
Yeah, it was crazy. So let's move on, because I could, like, it makes me revisit feelings.
I can see you're back there.
Yeah.
And see, and this is why it's important. You never know, the things that you can do can, you know, cause a stir in the moment, but it can also take somebody back to an unpleasant experience in the past. Okay. If your partner's love language is acts of service, this is us again. Okay? We love acts of service. Try showing rather than telling. Now, since I'm a words and an action girl, I always say it and do it. You know, that works for me. We have a perfect combination there. But it's very important that you do things, that there are actions and not just words for this particular love language. Following through with what you say you will do. This, oh my gosh. I didn't realize it until with someone whose love language is acts of service. Like, even the stuff that you like, I have the intention, right? You can't, no. Be very clear that you are going to deliver what it is that you said, because they remember it. Well, you said you were gonna X, Y, and Z, or you said we was gonna have tacos. It's Tuesday. What's happening, right? So, you know, please have the intention and the follow through of doing what it is that you say you're going to do. Assisting with stressful or time consuming tasks. Partnership is really important, right? Like, if you can, and I know this for myself too, if you can alleviate some stuff for me, we are best buds, right? Or if you can prevent things from falling on me and me having to do it, I'm like, oh shoot, we good. Okay, the more you add to my plate, probably the less I like you. Looking for small ways to help them. For example, cooking for them, running a bath, paying for gas, I don't know how Barzini gonna say, yeah, that's the expectation, men and women. Pump the gas, okay? I don't know. Give him a break. Give him a break from doing the stuff that he always
pump your own damn gas for once.
Like, I got it.
Take the trash out. Shit.
And then being spontaneous. So maybe surprising them. Now, this particular thing says surprising them at work with flowers. Maybe guys like flowers too, but if not, surprise him at work with something he likes. Like for me, I'd show up to his job with Chick-fil-A, and that would work just fine. Or some Popeyes.
I've gotten flowers at work before.
Okay. How did it make you feel?
I laughed because she fucked up. It was her apology. She was
okay.
It was an apology. It was cute. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. She was like, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, you bringing me flowers out? Because I would do that for her. So she returned it, but it was an apology. So I laughed.
And speaking of flowers, I really don't know how I feel about them. I've only gotten them a couple of times in my life. And I realized why I was so and when I have, I felt like really special. But if I didn't, I think I probably looked around like, oh, am I supposed to want these? Because, everybody, like if it's like a Valentine's Day or whatever, and you kind of see people posting pictures of bouquets and stuff. And I was having a talk with my mom, and I realized, oh, like my mom never got flowers, and it was because she hates them. Like she would tell my dad, if you're going to spend $75 or $100 on
don't do it on something that's gonna die.
He was like, you could come put that money in my hand. And I was like, is that where I got that from? Because I'm like, I mean, you can, you don't have to. That's part's up to you. But anyways, I digress. So here are the things to avoid if you are with someone with acts of service as a love language. Ignoring requests for help. And that's really good if they actually request it, because if you're with someone who doesn't necessarily ask for help and they just expect you to know, that could be a lose-lose.
You should just know.
But if they actually ask you, then that means like they really, or it could be an opportunity for you to share time together. Avoid not following through. Avoid being closed-minded. Like feeding into gender-based stereotypes when it comes
pumping gas.
To tasks. This was literally I'm like, Or look, maybe I should point this way. This is where you are on my screen. Yes. So those are things to avoid for acts of service. And last but not least, receiving gifts. Okay. Try thoughtfulness in gift giving. So not just giving gifts, but what are the things that they would enjoy, that they would like? Souvenirs when you travel without them. Bring them a Golden Gate Bridge shot glass or a magnet to put on their refrigerator.
Shot glasses always work.
That's right. Gifts that symbolize moments, experiences, or feelings. So there's something attached to the gift, right? Remember when we went to Vegas for the bump, bump, bump? Small reminders or tokens when they don't feel their best. So you come in with the save. Or the other last week, there was a family situation that caused me and #Boo to have to go to different states. And that weekend happened to be the anniversary of our engagement. And I was just like, we're finally back together and not together. Right. And rat, tat, 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 tat on the door. No, it wasn't even rat, tat, tat. It was ding, 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 ding. Because it's scared. And I'm like, what is happening? And I go answer the door, and here's the edible arrangements guide. Now, gifts is not even my love language, but I was just like, oh, that he found a way to be there or acknowledge where I was, not just a message, which we did that too, but I wanted you to have something that I know you're not, really feeling this, but hey, acknowledgement. So yeah, when people are down or maybe disappointed or things are not going the way, he's gonna get so mad at me for telling all whatever. I was like, that I think about, I'm like, oh God, I've been telling, and he does this, and he does that. Don't be mad at me. I'm so sorry. My life has been forever changed. So I'm just excited about it.
I got to tell somebody.
Right. Just like, please don't be mad at me.
Just can't keep it to myself.
But in other words, if gift giving is their language, finding the moments that would make that gift even more special. And then being intentional on holidays, especially, birthdays. There are some people I know who act a plum nut around their birthdays. And I think everybody should be celebrated on their birthday. But if somebody tells me happy birthday the day before, or maybe even the day after, I'm not mad, because January is January as far as I'm concerned. But there are some folks that are just ridiculous. Anywho, avoid 3 things to avoid. Forgetting special occasions. So you better set that Google Calendar or Apple whatever it's called over there in Apple land. Make sure you plot everybody's the birthdays, your anniversaries. I think they got the holidays covered, and abide by that. Materialism. So if you think like, oh my gosh, they're just into material things, understand, at least from the examples that we gave above, gifts are not necessarily about the cost. It's more so for these folks about the meaning. And then avoid giving gifts without love or out of a sense of duty, which I think that applies to all the languages. If you give of yourself, or you are acting or speaking this love language, and you let them know in some form or fashion that you just like, I feel like I have to do it. Nobody wants that. You can keep that. So, we wanted to leave you with some actionable steps and some things to avoid as you're on your journey to learning maybe a new language, or maybe refreshing the language that you know.
Yeah. I don't even think that we need to put a bow on it with final thoughts. I think the tips were a good place to kind of punctuate. Because I want to be intentional about people that kind of like really paid attention to those
Ruminating.
things. Yes. Yeah. Let it sizzle in your system, in your spirit.
Like a good marinara. Or Alfredo.
Like a good Alfredo. Let that bake your noodle a little bit. Right. So
absolutely.
With that, y'all, this has been a very
also in the comments, drop down what your love languages are.
Yeah. Y'all gotta listen, y'all gotta leave some motherfucking comments. Y'all need that's a love like comments are a love language to podcasters and content creators. All right, let us know. Let us know if we suck. Let us know if you loving it. Let us know what we can do better. We know you love Dre's voice, so I can say that too. Like, oh my god,
I love you guys. Thank you.
You're right, Dre, also known as the voice.
Oh, now that's high up there because that's Whitney. But
I mean, we're not in the world of singing. But
my speaking. Thank you.
Yeah, yes, the speaking voice.
The voice. The voice.
Oh shit.
See, words of affirmation. You see what happened. You see what happened.
Like she started. Yeah.
Got a little juice.
All right, y'all. With that, we're gonna wrap it up for this week. Make sure you tune in next week. Make sure if this is your first time listening to us, you go back and listen to all the other episodes. Y'all,
The Girl Energy Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah. Check out BG. You gotta watch the other episodes so you can get these references because you're missing the references. And we're a dope podcast. I say that with confidence. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely. So until next time, y'all, this has been the XrossroadZ podcast. And in closing, as always, remember, be free to be you.
You guys take care.
We love y'all.
Bye.
We want to thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and register for our email list for more episodes and projects from your hosts, Barzini and Dre Renee. Until next time, this has been the XrossroadZ Podcast. And remember, be free to be you.